shush. I didn't realise I was on air then. Hi, long time no see. Part 5 coming up. I think when I last was speaking to you on the parable section, I just quit my job, hadn't I? I think that's the way it was going. Yeah, so the way the ego was getting washed was to let go of any ideas that I had to work hard for a living, and that I had to hold down a job and be in charge of making ends meet and just being in control, taking control back from God. But now it was getting washed away, flushed away. And I spent, a couple of years trying to find another job, wanting to take the leap of faith, but not really wanting to jump until the other job was in place. Really, that's not faith, is it? A leap of faith is jumping, knowing with faith that you'll be caught. And it's not about trying to find something and get the safety net in place before you jump, and that's what I was doing. And so when Jesus came along, the job went. And I sort of knew it was time to go anyway, because I'd been in the chemist position for 10 years. And you had to be kind of accurate and precise with it, yet the simple things I was just not being precise with anymore. I couldn't be bothered, to be honest. I don't want to even call it making mistakes. It was just a lack of care in the job. And I knew that I had to step aside and let somebody else in. And so when I eventually left, my colleagues were coming up to me and saying, "We hear that you're leaving, and have you got another job to go to?" And I said no, and they were like horrified. "You can't do that. You've got a mortgage and 3 kids. You can't do that." And then they were saying, "Are you scared? Are you frightened?" And I was like, "No, I'm excited and joyful. It's like Christmas. I know something exciting's coming, but I don't know what it is yet." And so I was all excited, and they were like, "Wow, we wish we had the balls to do it." So many of them there that wanted to go, but felt under pressure to stay. So when I leapt from that job in faith, what happened was the minute I leapt, this other job just turned up, and it really wasn't about getting another job and seen to be employed and all that. It was about flushing away egoic ideas. So I'd already given up this job, and it was, I won't say it was so high powered, but it was well paid and it had lots of perks. So I gave up that. And interestingly enough, the 2 jobs that the ego said that I must never do in this world, because it was far inferior to me, was shop work and cleaning. And it's just the ego had ideas about that for me. It was like, you could never do that. I'll never let you do that. I'll never have you do that. And some of it was kind of wrapped up in the past, because my biological mother was very talented on a creative level, talented with her hands. She wasn't an academic at all. She could do wedding cakes. Her sugarcraft was amazing, and she could make wedding dresses. She could do anything on a sewing machine, or knit cable, cardie. She could crochet. She could rip down walls and rebuild houses. She could decorate. She could cook. She was literally everything in a creative way. but she never used it. She wasted those skills, and she just scrubbed floors and toilets in a hospital as a cleaner. And so I guess there was some element there that, annoyed me, that she'd wasted her creative skills, and that somewhere deep within me, I didn't want to turn out like that, to waste skills. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with a shop worker or a cleaner. I totally respect them, because where would we be without them? And they do an amazing job. But I'm just saying the ego had an issue with it. The ego self had an issue with it. And so Jesus is saying, we're going to flush that right out of you. We're going to wash that ego right away. And so I'd met these two girls in a new agey crystal shop. They sell jewellery as well, and it was right by my place of work, and I'd passed this building 3 times a day for 10 years. Yet while I was sleeping, in the sleeping mind, I didn't know that the place was there. I never noticed it before, ever. Yet in my awakening, I was like, whoa, what's that place? And I was getting drawn in. And there I met these two girls, and I became really friendly with these girls, and I used to spend my dinner hour in their shop, and then when I made the leap of faith and I left my job, their boss went into the shop and said, I want somebody to help out for the Christmas season, and only for 3 months, and I don't really want to go through the advertising thing again, and do you girls know anyone? And they both said, Sally. So they both wanted me. They both thought that I was perfect for the job, and so I received a phone call saying, will you take this job on? And so literally the job just came to me, and it was all about flushing the ego, because it was a shop job, and it was one of those egoic things that said could never happen, and it was very low paid. And when I worked there, I was told about this area manager who was meant to be a bit of a bitch and hard to work for. Yeah, I had to work with her quite a lot, and she would have me go in and strip all the cabinets out and all the jewellery out, and then she'd tell me to design it all by colour scheme, by certain kind of gems. She told me exactly how she wanted it, and I spent hours and hours and hours designing and cleaning and building, and when it was finally done, everyone, said how good it looked and how well I'd done. Yet then she'd come in and tear it straight to pieces and say, I don't like it, do it again. And so I'd do it all again. I wouldn't say anything. I'd do it all again, spend hours and hours and hours, and even weeks. And then I'd come in on my next shift, and she'd got my assistant to tear it all to shreds. And so it carried on like this, and it was just a flushing and a washing of the ego, and it was really, really perfect for doing that. So there was no wild ideas about superiority and being too good to do shop work, because it'd been washed away now completely. And this idea of I'm not being told what to do, and I'm not being treated like an idiot, well, that all got washed away. So when the 3 months was up, actually I got released early. It was 2 months. The boss decided that he was going to pay me off early. He was going to give me the full month pay, but let me go a month early. So it was kind of sweet, a sweet ending, and it was all perfect. The way the job panned out, it was like it was all set up so I wouldn't get lost in the rat race again. I wouldn't find myself getting stuck in employment again, because when I was a chemist, I was I was meant to be going into forensic science. I was going to be a forensic scientist, and there's a big forensic unit in Birmingham, up close where I live, and I was only meant to ever be this chemist at school for 2 years because I had so much laboratory experience in the hospital, and I needed laboratory experience elsewhere, so it was just meant to be for 2 years. And I got sucked into the employment, I got sucked into the pay, the perks, and I ended up there 10 years. So this new job was set up so I would never do that, and it was always set up that way, and so I left quite quickly, and I thought that was it, to be honest. Yeah, Jesus hadn't finished flushing the ego out of me yet, because the second job that came to me was a cleaning job. Of all jobs, a cleaning job, and it wasn't just any cleaning job. Jesus was really going to flush this ego out of me, because it was a job, a cleaning job for friends of mine who I felt we were on par with. Yet now there was a sense of inferiority, superiority, like I was inferior because I was coming to clean for them, and it's like the old dynamics of the relationship changed, and like they were higher than me and I was just a minion, and they were paying me to scrub their floors. And so that's the kind of relationship that started there, and I swallowed hard and said yes to do it. And so yeah, I think that job lasted about 4 months, and I was told by Spirit that I was to take it for only 4 months and then leave, and that Christmas would be my last shift there. I would not be carrying it forward into the new year. But so there was a lot of flushing of the ego going on in that job, just because of the dynamics of who I was working for and what I was doing. And again, it was low pay, and then I had a lot of friends who were friends with this woman I cleaned for, and they were either in high-powered jobs or their husbands were in high-powered jobs. They were in the middle-class bracket, and they were, wearing designer clothes and driving big flash cars, and they came calling one day and caught me cleaning. So it was like, whoa. I mean, I felt this level of shame just flushing over me and washing over me, and I almost felt guilty, and like I had to just justify myself. But I was just aware of it. I was just mind watching, and I was allowing it to be flushed. And then the job was pretty intense in the fact my friends like perfection in everything, and they had a massive house, and they wanted every single inch of that house worked on and spotless, and yet this house was full of crystals. All the windowsills were laden in every room, and I had to lift each one of these crystals up and polish it, and just remove them all, clean the windows and the windowsill, clean all the crystals, put them back, and I felt under pressure because there wasn't a lot of hours to do the work. And then, of course, my friend decided she really liked having her cleaning done because it freed her up, and so then she didn't want to do the ironing next, so she asked if she could put the ironing on for me as well. And I hadn't done ironing. For 7 years. I had a bet with a friend that I wouldn't pick an iron up and iron another thing, and this happened 7 years prior when my friend, I said to my friend, I can't stand ironing. It really does my head in.